Yeah, you know, living my whole life from 1 years old to almost 26 years old at this point, I've realized a couple things. I've realized people who you think are gonna end up being your best friends for multiple years, you know, those same people who you think are gonna be your best friends never really end up being just a friend to you. You always go home lonely every night after leaving them, so then you have to focus more on you. But that's actually a good thing, because when you focus more on you and less on them, then you can focus on the right things instead of all the wrong things. And that's what they pretend to be the exact opposite of the things that you just described, like trying to maintain just being a best friend to just one person. But after you leave that one person and you still leave them out of respectfulness with kindness in your heart that's been exerted from your heart, well then technically the next time you see them, you're still their best friend, but it never really feels that way every time you see them. But you know that they're still a good person to you, and they're still pretty nice to you, respectfully, and show respectiveness every time they see you. But does it really make them your best friend? I never really look at it like that, but I guess that's how other people look at it, but that's just how it works. You could really technically just have a friend who's not a best friend, but I figured that if somebody who isn't you, just yourself entirely, and then you make a friend who is literally just a friend and they start hanging out with you, so let's say 7 days passes, that's only 1 week. You start to get to know them, you send them text messages, then all of a sudden they want to actually send you a phone call, so you answer their phone call, but then somebody who isn't you hears and listens in on one of your phone calls, and they're like, oh, who are you talking to, dog? And I'm like, mind your own fucking business, you nagging ass bitches. I'm just trying to make my own friendships, dumbass bitches. Sometimes life is like that though. Sometimes life is real cold. Sometimes life is like that though. Sometimes life is real cold, but that's just how it goes. Sometimes life is like that though. You can't have everything that you want handed right to you right away. You can't have a best friend, let alone just a friend, because that's just not how the world works. Okay? Sometimes you want to have a best friend. Sometimes you only really depend on yourself. Sometimes you want to have a best friend. Sometimes the only person you depend on is yourself. Sometimes it's hard to make a best friend, let alone just a friend. But that's just the way the world works. That's just the way this cold world works. They try to make you go to work. Even outside of just working a normal job, you still feel like you're going berserk, and you still feel like all the pain inside of your chest, it disperses out of this constant rage, and it's always center stage but never on a legitimized stage, but it still feels like it's center stage.